Hey guys, it's Chris. From ones that endangered people's lives to ones that were just too dangerous to ride. Join me as I reveal 8 roller coasters and rides that were shut down, banned, or closed. Number 8, the Cannonball Loop. While not a roller coaster, we would be remiss if we didn't mention this legendarily dangerous water slide. While this water slide is not in the world anymore, it was active for a month in which many people got hurt. And this water slide was basically proven to be quite deadly to riders, which was only made more shocking by the fact that the people who built the ride didn't seem to care about customer safety. This water slide was made in 1985 at Action Park in Vernon Township. Action Park of Vernon Township actually had a very dark history of abusing via their rides and slides their customers. There had been deaths at the park, 6 recorded, with many other people being seriously injured. But this didn't stop with the Cannonball Loop. The problem with the water slide is the loop itself. Loops in water slides are dangerous if not done properly. If you don't build up enough speed, you're not going to make it through the loop, which is why many water slides that have loops have an angled loop to ensure that momentum is carried throughout. The Cannonball Loop didn't have that. It had a full 90-degree vertical loop. So even with the long buildup, it was a guarantee that people would get hurt. And they did, but the park still wanted to open the ride. Reports even came out that they bribed their own park workers with $100 to ride it, and the few that did wouldn't go on it again. What's worse, the actual customers who went on the ride sometimes got stuck at the top of the loop, and an escape hatch had to be put in to ensure they could get out safely. And those were the lucky ones, as others got injured riding the ride, including almost being knocked unconscious after falling back into the slide after not making it through the loop. As if that wasn't bad enough, the construction of the water slide made it so that sand could pool at the bottom of the slide, so anyone who went down it would get scratched by the sand, and the slide would have to be closed down for cleaning. After the problems and issues, the slide was closed down a month after opening. Number 7, Green Lantern First Flight. A common misconception about roller coasters in general is that once they're built, they don't come down until they're ready to be rebuilt or replaced with something newer or fresher. But like many things in this world, the rides only last as long as people are willing to ride them, which is why the Six Flags Magic Mountain ride Green Lantern First Flight was shut down just 6 years into its life, with it now being torn down in 2019. The intent of the ride was to give you a flight that would resemble the DC Comics character who flies through space via magic ring. But for whatever reason, theme park goers just weren't interested. As such, the ride was closed down in 2017, and only now is getting the official replacement order. When told about this, many were happy the ride was getting shut down. One of the worst coasters I've ever ridden, glad it's dead, one reader responded to my tweet about the announcement. Good riddance, wrote another. The only remotely positive response was, sad to see this one go, but hopefully it's for a great replacement. And superhero rides are usually very popular, like the Batman ride or Superman ride that many Six Flags theme parks have, but clearly there's an exception to every rule. And now for number 6. But first, be sure to subscribe if you're new here, and let me know if you've ever visited any of these parks or roller coasters before they were shut down. Let me know in the comments below. Number 6. TIDAL Twister. Not all shutdowns of rides at theme parks are permanent, but some are necessary in order to fix key issues, such as what happened in June of 2019 at SeaWorld for their ride known as TIDAL Twister. The ride had just been implemented when it suddenly shut down just 2 weeks after its launch. Though it wasn't stated specifically what the problem was, SeaWorld San Diego did explain that it was an operational issue, and they made sure to enforce that no one had been hurt on the ride. TIDAL Twister experienced an operational issue, for which we're working with the manufacturer to resolve so we can get the ride back up and running as soon as possible. No one was injured. The safety of our guests and team members is our top priority. Procedure via shutdown was not only to fix an issue, but also to let the California Operational Safety and Health Administration inspect it to see if it really was ready for operation. While it is curious to see a defect happen so shortly after launch, it's also good to see that the park took no chances, but the safety of the passengers above everything else. Number 5. Streamer Slide. When it comes to water slides with inner tube requirements, the truly dangerous water slides are ones that cause those tubes to flip upside down with you in them. A prime example was in the Calypso water park located in Ottawa, Canada. There was a water slide known simply as the streamer slide. This slide had a notorious habit of causing the tubes to flip, injuring many. In fact, so many were injured that 20 different lawsuits were brought against the park. Although some were dropped when the trial came around, the park was found guilty in regard to 6 of them. One of the worst injuries by far was when a woman broke 2 vertebrae in her back. The worst part of it all, though, was that after these injuries happened, the park didn't report them. They continued on with business as usual. Whether by the courts or the will of the people, the ride was shut down, as you can see on their page, as they didn't advertise the slide anymore. Number 4. Thunder River Rapids Ride. Another common misconception about shutdown rides is that they were built dangerously. Many rides that have been shut down have been model citizens in terms of safety, but freak accidents can change that really quickly, such as what happened in Dreamworld Park in Australia, when their Thunder River Rapids ride had a deadly accident happening back in 2016. The ride itself had been active since 1986, and it hadn't gotten a single blemish on its record. But then one day, the massive vehicle that people rode on via conveyor belts flipped over, and when it did, the people on board weren't just pinned to the vehicle, they were pinned to the moving conveyor and the machinery of it as well. Due to this, 4 people died in the accident, and it made the news all over the world because of the fatal nature. And due to the horrific nature of the accident, the park shut the ride down, as they didn't want people to fear the ride breaking anymore, nor have the image of that accident hanging over them as they tried to continue running the park. Number 3. The Farouked. Part of the fun of going on a water slide is seeing the way it's designed. As it's a park, it's meant to incite feelings of awe and wonder of what it would be like to go on said slide or water ride. But in the desire to be cool, it can have some bad side effects, including death. Case in point, the Farouked. A slide that was actually taller than the Statue of Liberty. On one hand, you can imagine the thrill of going up that high and seeing the world look so small beneath you, and then the rush of getting to the bottom and laughing about how quickly you got there from the top. But if there's any issue at all with the ride, it could claim a life, and that's exactly what it did. In 2016, a young boy rode the ride and died because of it. In a quite grisly manner, in fact. Due to that, the slide was shut down permanently. Number 2. Son of Beast. Sometimes a popular roller coaster can bring in an offspring or an offshoot in order to bring in more customers. For the legendary theme park Kings Island in Manson, Ohio, their ride The Beast got a sequel in the form of Son of Beast, and when it did, it set a lot of records. Mainly at the time, it was the world's tallest and fastest wooden roller coaster. Adding to its fun was that it was the only wooden roller coaster that had a loop in it. The ride was very popular and got a lot of attention. However, because of its very nature of it being a wooden roller coaster, it had a series of flaws that couldn't truly be ignored. Mainly, it was a bit of a rough ride. Many riders noted getting injured by just riding Son of Beast. There were also accidents like when a wooden beam broke on the ride in 2006 and caused 27 people to be injured. Eventually, a woman claimed that a blood vessel burst in her head because she rode Son of Beast, and that was the final straw. The ride was closed in 2009. But the legend of Son of Beast apparently still lives on in those who love to ride it. Number 1. The Catapult. When it comes to certain rides like the Catapult, you're likely surprised that there haven't been more incidents with them, given that the whole ride is them being held by 2 cables and then flung into the air back and forth. Unlike many regular roller coasters and water rides, there's not a lot of redundancy that can keep people safe. Sure enough, one near disaster caused a catapult ride to shut down in Wisconsin Dells, specifically at Mount Olympus Water and Theme Park. This incident is not only famous, it's a viral video, because the video in question, taken from someone in the crowd, showed during the pre-launch preparations something going very wrong. In this case, a mother and son were just about to ride the ride when one of the cables that was about to launch them into the air snapped. Neither the mother nor the son were hurt, but the intent was still there. If it had been a few seconds later, there's no telling what would have happened to them. Thus, the theme park shut down the ride for good. Thanks for watching. What did you think of these dangerous roller coasters and rides that were shut down? Can you believe that some of them were able to go on for as long as they did? Do you know of any other roller coasters or rides that could have been on the list? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to World List, and I'll see you next time.